love helping entrepreneurs write, publish, and profit from their books. I'm really excited to let you know about a program that my partner, Janine Brisbois, and I are offering. It's called Here's Your Wings, Write Your Book. Your credibility depends on it. We are inviting you to join a 30-day program that will get your book from idea to first draft. Today's the day. Now's the time. You are the person. Stop the avoidance. Teach your audience. Your book awaits. For more information about this special program, send me an email at ruthlsnyder@me.com. Welcome. This is Choices from Struggle to Strength. Today, I'm happy to have Robyn Roste with me. Welcome, Robyn.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So I'm looking forward to hearing about your story, but first tell us a little bit about what you're passionate about and why.
Yeah, for the past at least decade, I've been passionate about being a writer and establishing myself as a writer. But then as I've accomplished that goal, I realized what I'm really passionate about is giving words to people who don't have words, or introducing people to something they may not have thought of before. So it's really the idea behind the words that I'm passionate about.
I can identify with that. So tell us a little bit about some of the difficulties that you've experienced and how that's influenced your life.
Sure. Yeah, I've always been a really ambitious person and really driven by, maybe it's a type A personality or an oldest child syndrome or whatever it is. I grew up having a lot of goals and being really driven to achieve them. But then I hit a point where, I kind of checked off all the things on my list. Not that I was super successful, just that I didn't have anything I was really going after. I felt completely lost. Like, who am I without, having three things on my list that I'm going after, or things I'm trying to accomplish. And I realized after not immediately, after quite a lot of just soul searching and feeling really lost, that really, like, having these goals isn't what I need to be about, always going after, striving, or giving into that, I guess, hustle culture. So that's something I've really, really struggled against, is just really giving into, like, being successful or going after, like, why do I want to get promoted? Why do I want to get rich? Why do I want to have a certain number in my bank account? Why do I want all these accomplishments? And really, I guess it's similar to my passion, is just getting into the why. Like, what is this thing I'm going after, and giving it some meaning.
Mm-hmm. So was there a particular time during that struggle when you knew you had to make a choice?
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't even recognize myself after a while. I had really drifted from the person I thought I was. I don't know if you have experienced that, where you have this ideal of who you are, and you get a good look at yourself in the mirror and you realize, like, that's not who I am right now. And I was just embarrassed. I was ashamed of what I was becoming, not because I was becoming a bad person. I just really strayed from my values, from who I wanted to become, what I wanted to stand for. And yeah, so it was a hard look at truth. And yeah, so I think that's where it really came to a point for me of just like, hey, shake this off. Like, who do you want to be? And actually build your life around that. Like, make these your goals, and go for that.
So what are some of the values that you were straying from and you went back to?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, well, first of all, my faith was a value I had, and I completely just started ignoring that. My faith in, in God, and who I was, as, like, with that, I completely strayed from that identity and just was pursuing, just, I don't know, things that made me happy in the moment. So I don't, whatever that was, like, it was just very shallow. I also strayed away from just relationships, from friends that held meaning. Anytime I was challenged with a conflict or something that was hard, I just kind of left it and went to what was easy. And so I strayed away from just sticking to things, and just really, really, following my path in life. I really just was washed along with the flow. And yeah, it was really unrecognizable after a while.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I think sometimes it is easy to drift, and it's like the frog in the water syndrome, right? You don't recognize it, and then all of a sudden you wake up one morning and like, what happened?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I seem to be boiling alive.
Yes, not something we want to do.
No.
So I didn't ask you before, but what helps you to stay consistent with your values? How have you changed so that you're not straying like you were before?
Yeah, well, really what it is for me is I have like visual cues to remind me, because it's so easy to just get swept up in the day to day of just life that you forget. And so I do have like a regular practice of journaling, and I also have just behind me here a calendar that has, I've just like, it's just this like washable dry erase calendar that I just have sketched out. These are the things I care about. These are the things, this is my why. And that has really helped keep me focused just when I'm feeling, the stress or the just everything piling up. I look at that, I refocus, and that really helps me recenter and just go from there.
Mm, that's great. Good tip. So, how has the struggle of, I don't know, did you need to clarify your why, or did you just return to it? How has that struggle made you stronger?
A lot of it had to do with being afraid to embrace my calling or what I was actually passionate about. So I feel like I strayed because I was afraid
Mhm.
to fail or be rejected or actually not be that good at it. Or yeah, and so it comes back to writing always, but even not wanting to call myself a writer, just I do some writing sometimes. Or it would be like, not just, it would just never be, I like embracing that identity.
Mm,
And so that's been a real pain point of just trying to, that has been a real central point of just realizing that is my why, that is what I'm here for. I'm sure of it, and really embracing that identity and keeping that focused. And so I think that's been like the biggest transformation for me.
mhm. So, what would you say to someone who is struggling with calling themselves a writer, even though they know that that's what they're called to?
Yeah. I mean, it's so personal, but I think when you get down to it and you are real with yourself, you have to be very honest and, look at yourself, even the parts you don't like. And yeah, what am I called? Why am I here? What can I do that no one else can do? What do I have to say that no one else can say? And when you ask these questions and you're really honest, you're not being braggy, you're not being overconfident, you're just being really honest. Like everyone has that special something that they're here for, and it's like our life's work to discover that. But when you do and you don't pursue it or you don't embrace it, like you're actually doing a disservice to the people around you.
Mm,
And once you realize that, I mean, it's a gift, right? What you have to say is a gift to others. And if you can't share that, then, you know, whose life would be changed because of the words you have to say? Like, think of those people. And that should compel you, or at least it compels me to
mhm,
just, move past the fear, be brave, say it.
mhm. While you were talking, I was thinking, so maybe a good way to help people understand what you're talking about is to share some of the things that are unique about you. Share your why with us.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is really hard still all these years later. Thank you for the challenge. So I think what really lights me up, what gives me a lot of joy is when I can help someone understand something complex. So something that's going to help their life become easier. So whether it's just like how to be more grateful or how to, you know, uh, balance your budget. Like it could be something practical, it could be something internal, it could be just introducing a new thought that redirects your attitude or your mindset that really sets you on a better path. So I think those kind of things, that's one of my superpowers. And another thing is just finding stories that connect with other people. So it could be a not-for-profit that is just doing amazing work and nobody hears about it because they're not really good at interneting, or they're not very good at marketing, or even they don't have time because they're so busy doing the work. I love sharing those stories, introducing them to people who can support the vision, support the work, and like connect them. So I think making connections is another thing that is one of the things I can do in this world.
That's great. One of the things that a lot of authors struggle with and they don't think about when they're writing, and this goes back to the why, but we don't think about marketing.
True.
So what advice do you have for writers around marketing? I know we could probably talk all day about that.
Yeah.
But
I mean, okay, now we've gotten into my real passion is marketing. Because I have never seen people resisting as much as marketing. Just, yeah, and maybe because we're artists at heart and we think, well, if we market ourselves and it's inauthentic, or we're manipulating someone into buying. But the truth of it is, you have a story to share and you owe it to your readers to let them know about it. And I think as soon as you come from that place where this is my gift to you, then it stops being gross or icky. And I think that's the biggest thing for authors. The biggest switch is that, yeah, not every reader is going to appreciate it. That's fine. Your work's not for them, but you actually owe it to your readers to let them know that you have something to share, and your words will change their lives. And so, get it to them any way possible. And so you don't have to just all the time buy my book, buy my book. I mean, that's like one type of way you can let people know, but there are a million other ways to let them know about what you're doing, just through sharing about what you're learning, sharing about the characters you've created and why you love them, just telling stories about how these works came to you. All of these things are valuable and they count as marketing.
Yes, and I think one of the things that some writers tend to think is, yeah, buy my book is the only form of marketing. And I encourage people to think about who you are as a person and what you're comfortable doing and how you like to be approached. And then use that when you are sharing messages about your book. Because if you can be authentically you, like you were saying, that's the best way to market, right? Because people will be attracted to you then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
At least the people that need what you have to offer.
Yeah, well, exactly. And that's the thing too, when you're your authentic self, you will attract those who are your people and you'll repel the ones who aren't. It's a wonderful symbiosis, or I don't know what the right word is, but it's just this wonderful circle that really works.
Mm-hmm. Something that has been kind of a hot topic lately is content calendars.
Mm.
What advice do you have around content calendars?
Yeah. Okay. So I think content calendars are amazing. I swear by them. I love planning, but that again comes back to probably just who I am as a person. But the thing about a content calendar is it allows you to make less decisions, which is a really great thing, especially if you're not really into marketing, or if you're trying to focus on your books or your other writing projects and you just don't have the mental capacity to focus on all these other social media posts, blog posts, articles, etc. So a content calendar can really just help you map out the plan. So you just open it up and then you just say, oh, this is what I'm writing. And your brain is like, okay. And you just do it. Like it's wonderful. I encourage everyone to do it.
So how do you arrange a content calendar?
I start with one big idea. So I'll either have like a monthly theme or maybe even a quarterly theme of something that I want to communicate to my readers or followers. So I start with that one big idea and then I just break it down into smaller and smaller and smaller pieces. So yeah, it's hard to think of an example on the spot, but like, okay, I'll just talk about what I'm working on today. So I'm talking about copywriting. And so the big idea is, what's a copywriter? Why should authors worry about copywriting? So now I'm breaking it down. What are the benefits of copywriting? What is copywriting? How is it different from content writing? What are some examples of good copywriting? What are some courses you can take on copywriting? And on and on. You can break it down and down and down. And then what that does is it gives you, I don't know, what did I count? 9, 10 ideas there. That gives me 9, 10 social media posts. It gives me 9, 10 sections in my blog article. It gives me videos that I can talk about. And you can just keep breaking it down and down and down. And it's all on the same idea, but you're covering it from different angles.
Mm-hmm. So writers sometimes think that they have to do everything and they have to be on every social media site. What advice would you give them about that when it comes to marketing?
Yeah, I mean, there is an argument definitely for being visible everywhere, but that doesn't mean you have to be active everywhere. So, first of all, the social media platform, if it's completely misaligned with your values, then don't worry about it. Like, that is not going to be a fit for you. It will just be this constant just grind, I think. But if you're feeling okay about it, but you just like have to choose, I would choose the place where your readers are hanging out already, a place that they already enjoy and there is community to join in with. So then it takes some research, it will take probably some trial and error to find that place. But when you do, then just really dive in and focus on that area where and let all the other ones just kind of be.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. I tell people pick one and do it well, and then you can grow from there if you have more time and energy. But if you try to do everything, it doesn't work very well.
I totally agree.
Is there anything else that you would like to share? Any burning advice or questions that people ask you?
Yeah, I think I mean, a lot of people want to write a book, and a lot of people are stuck at that just the desire stage. And
Mm.
I think that to be part of that, 1% of people who actually follows through, not just writes the book, but publishes the book, it really does take a certain level of commitment. And my best advice is having the desire isn't going to be enough. You have to actually make space for it every day if possible, but
Mm-hmm.
finding that time to write and making that a priority. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's the only way I know how to do it. So that's my
Mm-hmm.
advice to you is find a way, put it in your schedule and get it done.
Mm-hmm. I tell my clients treat it like a doctor's appointment or a date with your best friend.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, sometimes doctor's appointments aren't things that we like to do, but time with our best friend, that's more agreeable.
It's true. Yeah, whatever works.
So, what's the best way for people to connect with you if they want to find out more about what you do and who you are?
Yeah, the best way is just going to my website, which is my name, robynroste.com. And there you can see my blog, which is about copywriting, marketing, and freelancing. You can join my email list, which I have a weekly newsletter and then a resource library with lots of like tips, tricks, worksheets, etc. And then, of course, links to all of my different social networks where I'm active. So that's the best spot.
Thank you very much for joining us today. And I look forward to continuing our conversation on Twitter Spaces.
That's right. Thanks, Ruth.
You're welcome.